What's up, cool kids? FD White. Welcome back to the channel. We're still getting that overall sell-off in most of the markets. Crypto's down. We have the stock market down. We want to talk about Nvidia because Nvidia, if you're a little bit new, Nvidia used to be kind of like my North Star when it comes to the stock market, when it comes to just the overall, markets. And Nvidia is taking a huge jump. So we're going to talk a little bit about Nvidia, and then we're going to talk about Bitcoin, which is teetering above that $100,000 level, which we want to hold. It's a psychological level, and also, it's a very pivotal level that we need to hold going into the weekend, and then also, this weekly close. So 100,000 is very, very, very important. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Welcome to the channel, like I said. So first and foremost, I want to talk about Nvidia. So this is coming from X. If you're not following me on X, make sure you come over at FD White Invest. It says breaking: Nvidia losses accelerate to negative 5% on the day, now down 15% from Monday's high. That marks a drop of about 800 billion since Monday. So almost $1 trillion in market cap from Nvidia has been taken away over this past few days. So this is, like I said, in the past, Nvidia used to be my North Star. And it used to be my North Star because it was like, okay, if Nvidia is doing well, I think the overall market is doing well. I think the overall stock market is doing well. And if the overall stock market is not doing well, how I tie that into crypto is crypto hasn't really been correlated to the upside, but when the stock market starts to roll over, I think it will start to be correlated to the downside as well. So this is why we're getting a lot of added pressure on crypto, on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still trying to hold this $100,000 level, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I'm watching Nvidia closely to see what it does, see if it keeps going down, and see what type of environment we are in when it comes to risk on and risk off, and if investors are a little bit tired and seems like we may be going into some sort of a lull period, possibly a bear market. And we haven't got any economic data. We haven't got any economic news lately. But I think once we start getting this news back, this data, once the government shutdown opens back up, and bad news keeps coming in, if bad news keeps coming in, I think the bad news will become bad news for the markets, because a lot of times it was like bad news is good news. Oh, we get rate cuts. We're getting rate cuts. Bad news, bad economic data, bad unemployment or employment data. We got to cut rates. We got to cut rates. So the bad news was good news. But in the future, in the this close future, that's what I'm trying to say. I think bad news will start being bad news, and that'll usher us into a bear market. Next, I want to really go back into, so we got the Nvidia chart here. Let's just down only. It's been down only ever since we had that top at about 200, and well, we had a nice little bounce about 212, and we just been coming down. So we'll continue to watch that to see if that's something that has been guiding me in the markets as to the health of the stock market. That we do have the Nasdaq down 1.7%, and that's coming off the back of Nvidia. Keeps coming down. We have the S&P down almost a percent. The Dow is down 0.6% or 0.60%. But want to talk about Bitcoin. So Bitcoin was teetering below 100,000 for a second earlier this morning. But it seems like we got a nice little pop, a small little pop coming in right now. We're sitting at 101,400. So this is okay. We do have a lot of resistance coming in at about 104,000. So every time I do analysis, I look at different levels and I look at reclaims. I just look at reclaims. If we can reclaim this, if we can reclaim that, then we'll be okay. So first and foremost, we just want to come in and try to reclaim that $104,000 level. Then we have something coming around 107 to 107.5K level, and then ultimately getting back above that $110,000 level. So baby steps. But like I said, as long as the stock market is coming down, we see a lot of the big tech stocks coming down. Tesla is down 4%. So it looks like a lot of things are coming down. Where's the dollar at? I haven't looked at the dollar. So the DXY is actually coming down as well. We had a top coming in on Wednesday at over 100. So we got into about 100 and 100.354. And we've been coming down, but it's still been, we still been getting a sell off on stocks and crypto. So that's not it's not a good sign. Usually they're inversely correlated. So if the dollar is going down and stocks, stocks are very weak, because these are priced in the dollar as the numerator and the denominator. So we'll have to continue to watch. Bitcoin is getting a small pop here, coming back above 101,000. So we do have something. If you're a short-term trader, you just want to kind of break this 102.5K level to possibly get a short-term move. We can get above here. Maybe we can get back above this 102.5. Use that as support, short-term trade coming into about 104,000. So that's just a short a short-term move that I'll be looking at, possibly drawing it out on the hourly and executing on maybe the 5 minute to see what type of move we can get, possibly a short move back up to this $104,000 level, which I talked about, which is coming in a nice 1.5% gain. So not an advocate of leverage, but if you know how to use leverage, you can get a little bit more out of that move if that's something that you want to pursue. So not really in the mood to like shield exchanges and trading platforms that offer leverage and things like that. I know how to use it, but it took me a long time not to be greedy. It took me a long time to take what the market gives me. A lot of people just come in and they don't want to take what the market gives. They want to get rich overnight. It doesn't work like that. That's why we get so much liquidations. We get so many people getting wiped out, getting liquidated. So it takes time. You cannot be greedy in this market, especially right now. You take what the market gives and you pay yourself and you keep it moving for the next opportunity. So just a quick update, what I'm thinking, my thoughts. If you want, you can come over to the Telegram where I give real-time thoughts, news, analysis, trade setups, the whole nine. Come over there to the Cool Kids Alpha Club. Link will be in the pinned comments. And yeah, I appreciate everybody who's been watching, everybody who's been loyal supporters of the Cool Kids. Stay sane and stay solvent. That's my message for the next few weeks. So I'll talk to you in a minute. Peace.